Is everyone back? Can you have your videos on? So we have almost come to the end of the 8-week program. With next week, we conclude the Yoga Sadhana. But we all recognize that it's just the beginning of a journey, maybe this lifetime. And if the Vasana is strong enough, maybe it will continue in the next lifetime. If we have created enough of the yogic samskaras, then they will take us forward in the next lifetime. Maybe, I don't know. So you've had a sort of a glimpse or a taste of what is yoga, right, as we can understand it from where we are, and what is the power and potential of the mind in a state, not even a state of yoga, but even a quieter mind, a mind that has a little more clarity, a little more steadiness, an ability to stay with something for a little while longer. Even such a mind can be so powerful, so much more powerful than the mind that we are working with and able to do so much, right? We also looked at the importance of daily practice, the importance of study, and the importance of staying with the inquiry of, why are we suffering? What is that we need to know so that we can overcome this? What is the direction that we need to look into? Do we have to keep looking outward, or can we turn inward and start seeing from where this is coming, what is creating these disturbances? So start the process of inquiry. And hopefully this is what we have laid out through the Yoga Sadhana collectively. We have been able to connect through all these things. And the Sangha, the importance of a community. Because without the Sangha, nothing is possible. The path we have to walk alone, right? But we need each other for it. So a community of practitioners who can come back and share and support each other and learn from each other in this journey is the most fundamental thing. And we hope that we have been able to help you to have a taste of what that Sangha means, so that you can continue with your inquiry, with your practice, with your engagements with each other. So we can all support each other in this process. So in preparation for next week, today I want you to again go back into the triad. But what we will explore today in your triad is coming back to this practice of Kriya Yoga. Right? Because if I'm only looking at asana, pranayama, and a little bit of some sitting quietly as my practice, and the rest of the day I am out there in the world and completely consumed by the problems of my life and the world, I don't think it's going to take me any further than making my back feel good, my breath flow better, and things like that. Okay, I might experience some level of better health and well-being, but nothing more than that. So if my practice has to get deeper, if my understanding has to deepen, then this practice of yoga has to be like a continuous thread through my day. So Kriya Yoga, how do I bring yoga into my actions, and how can my actions become yoga, and how can I experience yoga with every step as I move forward towards a better state of mind. So Kriya Yoga has 3 components. We have already studied. Tapas is to use heat to cook, to burn, to purify. So actions that are purifying in nature. So am I doing actions, whether it's a choice of the food or my lifestyle or my practice or my communication or my listening, whatever that might be, is it purifying me? Is it purifying my context? Is it purifying whatever I'm engaging with? Otherwise, that is not yoga. If it is going to create more residues, if it's going to create more disturbances, then that is not the direction of yoga. The second component is swadhyaya, self-reflection, to move towards oneself. So it is not like I'm sitting and reflecting on myself. It is moving towards oneself. So that movement is a continuous movement. Every time I'm encountering some disturbance, I have to remember to turn back and say, no, I want to start moving towards myself to understand this better. Maybe I don't understand it. Maybe I don't have the clarity because my mind is disturbed. But can I stay with this info? So swadhyaya. So the chanting, the study of the text, the discussions you are having, the triad itself is a beautiful practice of swadhyaya. So when you listen, when you speak, when you're the observer, you're constantly in that space of swadhyaya, self-reflection. And the third component is the most important component is Ishvara Pranidhana. That as I continue to practice and reflect and go deeper, I will begin to recognize how small and how insignificant the self is in comparison to everything that's happening around you. Right? You begin to connect with something much larger, far more powerful than what we think we are. And that allows us to accept the reality and allows us to do the best what we can with whatever comes to us. So that is the attitude of Ishvara Pranidhana. Pay attention to the quality of the action. Don't worry about the result because the result doesn't belong to you. So it's a beautiful mudra, what we call the Anjali Mudra. It's a practice that was given by one of my teachers. I found extremely powerful. So Anjali Mudra is like this. You hold your hands. Yeah? The fingers are not open. So you're holding. It's like you, whatever you receive, you should be able to hold it. Okay? But hold it in a very relaxed way. Hold it in front of your heart. Hold it in front of your chest. And this is whatever you have, whatever you want to offer, you offer it from this space. And whatever you receive it here. Okay? You're not grabbing, you're not pulling something. You're just receiving it. And whatever falls has to fall. Whatever comes has to come. And then whatever you want to give will be taken away from her and also be ready to give it. So something will come, something will flow from her. So just that attitude of Ishvara Pranidhana. So how can we bring these three elements in our daily life so that the thread of practice, inquiry, and deep acceptance and surrendering to a higher intelligence happens? Slowly that becomes deeper and deeper, and over a period of time that becomes a samskara. So how do we bring it into our daily life? So you can look at your mindful activities, you can look at your practice, you can look at chanting, you can look at going back to the study, the triad. There's so many aspects that we can build into our daily life. Of course, we can't be all the time practicing, we have to live our life. But even in that, if we bring this quality or the spirit of Kriya Yoga, then whatever you do, even the most mundane task can become a practice. Right? When we had the lockdown, we didn't have help at home, at least in India, people have the luxury of having people to come and help us to cook and clean and everything. No help at home, it's a new samskara, we are not used to it, no? So initially it's a lot of irritation. Oh, I have to wash the vessels. I don't want to cook so much because I have to wash more vessels. I have to clean, I have to mop, I have to do everything and do the practice and teach. And we were also doing a lot of work online. So converting all of that into practice. Maybe I don't get time to do my asana practice. I can get 20 minutes maximum. But can I mop and can I sweep and can I wash my vessels with that quality of attention that I have in the asana practice? Then that becomes my practice. Yeah, when I'm sitting down to listen to somebody, I can say, oh, I don't want to listen to this lamenting. Or I can say, let me listen deeply because it's a practice for me. I am practicing with that person. Yeah, so the most mundane task can be converted into Kriya Yoga through mindfulness. Then everything is within the sphere of your awareness. You're able to pay deep attention, intense attention, and in a very relaxed way to everything that is arising and passing. And more and more and more, the mind is able to stay in the moment rather than running away to the past or future. That is yoga. The actions that come from such a mind is yoga. And these actions will take us towards yoga. How wonderful. So, I want you to get into triads and just talk about your aspiration on this path. Talk about what is that you want to build into your daily practice. Okay. Again, remember, we want to do 100 things every day. We have only 24 hours. Of that 7 hours, you go to sleep. Then you have to work. There are many things. But there are little nuggets that you can plug into your daily life to remind yourselves of the direction that you want to move and the aspiration. So today's sharing is really to awaken that aspiration within you. If all these teachings, learning, sharing has helped you to connect with that within you, then talk about it. It's like a little seedling, that's or a seed. Maybe it is already sprouted. We don't know. It is sprouted, obviously. So how do you want to protect it? How do you want to take care of it? What is the fencing you will put around it? What kind of manure will you offer it? How would you serve it in a way that can grow? Yeah, talk about that. And listen to each other. As you listen to each other, really listen from a space of a friend. Really wish that this happens, this manifests for that person. Really wish from the bottom of your heart. Let this happen. Tathastu. Let it happen. Full of maitri, full of joy, and full of loving kindness. Listen to that from that space. Okay. And make sure you enjoy this. Keep it light, keep it relaxed. And don't advise, don't get into that, simply listen. And inside you can say, let it happen. Whatever you want, however you want to do, let it happen. So, Gauri?
I'll open the breakout room. 30 minutes, Saras?
30 minutes. Okay. So 30 minutes. And so what you do is after every person shares, spend a little time sitting quietly, savoring and allowing that to drop away and prepare your mind to receive the next person. Okay. And if you want to make any notes, make notes also. So you can put it aside and then go on to the next person. So maybe 3 to 5 breaths between each person sharing. So it's easier for you to shift your role from speaker to listener to observer. So all the 3 of you play the role and then make your notes, just write your journal notes and come back. It's 9:05, so 9:35.
One group has 4 people, so 2 observers.
Sure. So if you didn't have time to put down any thoughts or insights that came to you, maybe you can write down now. As you went through the process of sharing, listening, observing, what came up for you? What was your experience of that whole process? And what are you left with now from that? Can you share that?
Hi everyone. Hi Saras. So this thought of what is a society? Society originally, society or community for that reason, the purpose of it should have been to support each other in the same journey. Like earlier, the caste by communities, they used to live together because all of them had a similar lifestyle. One could support each other, and then later it became that society dictated what everyone should do with their lives, and our inner search lost value. Today in the world, we live to be accepted by the society, and to me that idea of society is very, I don't buy it. Now, when we talk about Sangha and being a part here, I believe this is a society to me. That came up to me, Suresh.
What came up for me was a lot of empathy. Like I got connected to a lot of empathy for myself and for everyone in the triad. And I realized how just slowing down and listening and giving that intention that, when you said tathastu, just creating that space consciously, how much it opens up the heart. So I'm really connected to a lot of love, a lot of compassion. And for me, children are a symbol of that. So I'm also really moved by how children showed up right now in this space. So yeah, that's stuff.
For me, what came up was that deep down we all have the same longing for that peaceful anchor in our lives. It seems we're all looking for the same thing.
For me, I've realized that I'm always feeling judged, especially recently. I feel that I'm always worried about judgment. So this gives, it has a nice space for just feeling non-judgment and just being listened to. And sometimes I speak too fast because I think people are not going to listen to me, so I better finish what I have to say quickly. So it feels more relaxed, that I have this time and I will just say what I need to say without judgment. And also, me being a listener, it's very relaxing to know that I just have to listen and not worry about anything else or how to advise somebody or, give the right words back. So I find that very nice. The whole left me very expressed and learning to deeply listen.
Yeah, I'll go. The sense of joy and happiness inside the heart with sharing and everything. This lightness and happiness within sharing the triad. Thank you.
I go. I felt that each one in our group were looking for harmony, and how everybody would, especially I think the yoga sadhana has helped us looking at every obstacle as a learning pathways. So all of us were looking at every obstacle as a learning pathway, and all of us had harmony in our hearts to get something in a flow. So we all wished for each other to have that flow, and thank you everybody.
Can I go again? Because exactly when Deepa uttered the word harmony, it was running in my mind as well. The realization of how order, peace, and harmony is a part of creation, that is natural in creation. And the realization that anything other than that is not natural. So now my expectation to experience harmony, does it come from the attachment that harmony is good, I want harmony is good, I want harmony? No, it doesn't come from that. It comes from a place where I understand anything other than harmony is the trouble. That is the attachment. I experience disharmony because I am attached somewhere else. So can I let go of such attachments? So harmony and peace becomes the natural way of life for itself. That was running in me when you spoke about harmony, Deepa. Hope it materializes for all of us and for the entire universe. So the creator will go to harmony and stop సృష్టించిపోయింది.
I have a, can I go now? Is there any?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So I have something that has come up even before the triad, and I wanted to wait till the triad was over. I have also expressed to my mentor, Anupama, that I wasn't a very comfortable person sharing, and I'm not very comfortable in the triad. But I still wanted to do it because I wanted to get out of that comfort zone and work it out for myself. My question that comes up to me regularly is when, for example, you want to be compassionate, when someone says you want to be compassionate, or you want to, or suppose I want to be compassionate. And compassionate to the extent that I'm being kind in a situation which is not necessarily correct. That causes a lot of disharmony, obviously, and I feel it's not the right thing to do, to be giving up my own sense of what is right and wrong for the sake of somebody else. And these are conflicts that come when you and there's a lot of compromise that happens when you're giving into other people talking or listening and you're trying to be harmonious. I feel the sense of disharmony is always the underlying current, at least for, I can say, I know there is the harmony that we're looking for. But let's say the same triad, which was so happy today, can we continue to be the triad when we're all disharmonious, or we are violent against each other, or we have said something to hurt each other? This is a space we have created consciously to be in the yoga space, in the place. But can this triad work if I had to say something which is not so nice? Will it hurt? Will this triad break? Will relationships crack? So are we creating this space consciously, and will this work if we are not conscious about it all the time?
It's a very good question you're asking, Aruna. So the way I would look at this triad practice, I look at it as a practice of creating a safe space for us to be who we are. Okay, when this is very difficult to do within the family, within people who are working closely together, where there are a lot of residues we gather in our interaction. There can be some hurt, some resentment, and anger, something that we have not addressed and resolved. And that all that can come up. So it will impact the practice. It will actually become an obstacle to practice. So you create a situation for practice where you can strengthen your ability to listen and speak without feeling that inhibition or feeling that you're going to be judged. And you can observe the whole thing from a quieter location. If you're able to practice it more and more in these kind of safer spaces, then there is a possibility that you can be that with your family or with your difficult relationships. Then it is possible to practice it in more difficult situations. But if you're going to begin with actually coming into a triad, let's say within a family or people that you have already a lot of issues, it's not going to be easy. Because the Avidya Kshetram is already going to be very active. I'm already coming with a lot of trepidation, concern. What are they going to say? Is it going to make me irritated? I have to be careful. I have to protect myself. If I'm going to enter a space with my armor and sword, I cannot practice. So I create a space for myself and for each other. So we can do the practice, and then that strength of the practice will be reflected in other areas of the life. That's why practicing with neutral people is very beneficial. Because you are going to come share, I don't need to judge you, you don't need to judge me, because your life is separate. But if you're going to become part of my life, then a lot of residues are there, a lot of baggage we carry. It's not easy. So the practice space has to be something that we need to really protect it. And like some of us are working together, many of us have been studying and working together for over 10, 12 years. It's not that we have not done anything or we haven't been hurt by each other and we haven't had arguments and difficulties in dealing with each other. But say, okay, can we look at it as a practice? Because we're all in this together. Can you share? Can we listen? Can we be in this? That is really the hope. We can be together and we can still practice. But initially, you need to create safe spaces for that practice to happen. So you're not in that Vichina Udara state all the time. You can't practice. You're firefighting. That time, all your need to protect yourself will become very, very strong. So only in the Prasupta Tanu level can the practice be strengthened. But it's a very important question that you're asking. But ultimately, the test is that can that practice be everywhere? Mamta, you wanted to share?
No, they say charity begins at home, Saras, and we are
Absolutely.
often very,
That's why we need to practice outside and come back
Yeah.
and live our life better.
And very often we're very friendly with our friends and we have no,
Absolutely.
and at home we are not grateful for anything. And it's the people who do most for you are taken most for granted. So these are the areas where we all, I think, the practice is really going to help, and I hope it does. Yeah. Thank you so much.
It can start impacting, but that's the most difficult place actually. Mamta, you want to share something?
I was just thinking about the distinction between being kind and actually being having compassion, because kindness comes in part from compassion, but I think they are quite different. Having sympathy or kindness coming out of sympathy often is quite different from actually having the ability to be in that person's skin, so to speak, and experience something. At which point perhaps then we're only listening then to the other person. And when we are speaking about ourselves, we are only speaking about ourselves. I think that's where the harmony can actually happen, but long practice, and I'm only giving what my understanding is and what my aspiration is rather.
So on this note, can we have a short practice in the end if everybody has finished sharing? Nirmalya, Joe, anybody wants to share last minute?
Yeah, I will like to. So yeah, I actually drew, normally I'm a bit visual person. So I just drew it and I just WhatsApp it. So, but it was a very relaxing, when you share something and with an aspiration, I felt very relaxing. And as a group, I could sense a strong, hope and energy to pursue it. So that is where I am left with.
Yeah.
Do the practice.
Yeah. So seems like the theme is the harmony and the triad. So we have 3 tools: body, mind, and the breath. So let's look at the harmony between these 3. What we have, we'll do a lying down practice. What we have done, the Shanmukhi Mudra yesterday. We'll just lie down, do a gentle breathing inhale, and then relax the body completely and do the Brahmari for 2-3 minutes, and then lie down silently, checking our harmony between the mind, body, and the breath and the senses inward at the heart center. Yeah. Any questions? So, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Lie down on your mat. Relax your body. You can lie down flat. Adjust your shoulder blades. And then adopt Shanmukhi Mudra without any pressure on the eyeballs. Nostrils. Relax your arms on the floor. If there is any tension in the low back, you can bend at your knees so that you can lie down for a while you do this process. Neck towards the chin, towards the chest, so that your back of the neck is relaxed completely. Now you can begin to inhale freely and exhale to whatever extent you can completely, until you feel the emptiness with the humming. And then continue at your own pace. Let this be the last hum. Then relax your arms by the side of your body. Palms open to the ceiling so that you relax completely. Your legs away from each other. Neck to one side if you feel any tension, keeping it straight. Now watch that slow, calm, quiet breath, focusing inward to your heart center, actively engaging yourself. With the quiet breath. Gently move your fingers, move your feet, become aware of the room, become aware of the space around you, sounds around you. Turn to left side and relax completely. Turn to left side. Relax the way you would lie down usually for the sleep. Just lie down. Once you feel rested this side, turn to the other side, right. Turn towards the other side. Whenever ready, sit upright to close with the prayer. Adopt Anjali Mudra in front of you. Relax the shoulders. We'll do Asatoma Satgamaya to receive and give whatever is in this Anjali Mudra. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Have a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you.
Okay. We will share some guidelines for homework for this week. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.